Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me and taking your time and looking at what I have brought for you. Um, the name, probably you heard about that in school. Rather interesting little story. Um, it's about flying. And in this floor, I think, yeah, it's second floor here, between the elevator and the escalator, there is an Icarus. So if you later on, after this talk, would like to have a little bit of an experience there, you're very welcome to visit us, and we make sure that it's safe. So don't worry. Don't worry about this, you know. um, we were invited here to the DIGILITY. Thank you very much for that, by the way. To tell you a little bit of how we approach with a new business that we believe does have a lot of potential, and we are really loving what we're doing right now. Talk a little bit about what's happening there, why we think it is successful, why are we doing this, why are we spending our time day and night by developing stuff and trying to convince people. And it does have to do a lot with what's happening there. You know, Daedalus and Icarus. Icarus was his son, Daedalus was the father. They were trapped on a Greek island. You can read all the details in Wikipedia. Cool little tool, you might know that. They were trapped. The father was an engineer, helped his son was his help, and they had to engineer something really interesting. And after engineering that, the king of the island just didn't let them go. So the father wanted to escape, so he started to think about how to do that. So he created a few wings, and he made those wings out of bird feathers he glued together with wax. And his mind was all focused on escaping. It's a very functional thinking, you know. He didn't lay out on the beach because it was a Greek island, nice place to go for tourists, also at that time. But all he wanted to be is free. So he had a really strong functional urge. His son, he just took it with him, and he also built some wings for his son. They were just about the same kind of quality, made in Greece, and his son had a totally different thing in mind. You know, his son was all caught by the thought of flying. So it's not so much about the function of flying, of coming from this island to home and escaping, but much more thinking about flying. And by doing so, he just came a little bit too close to the sun, and the wax melted, and he fell. So his father made the escape. So the functional side was very clean, very pure, and worked fine. Fantastic engineering by that time, you know. Don't try this at home. But the son, he paid with his life for trying to catch a dream, for an emotional feedback, and especially for the experience. And this is one of the reasons why we believe that what we're doing is not so bad, because virtual reality even might save some lives, because something like that, you really don't have to do that to experience it. People like to experience it though, and you can see that in YouTube, because people tend to film themselves with small little plastic cameras they just glue everywhere, and they film themselves and they post it and post it and post it, and this YouTube thing is like really exploding somehow. And they have many followers, many people looking at that, and there are things like proximity flying. You know, every third proximity pilot tends to die from what he's doing, so very much Icarus involved in there. And people still do it, and other people still watch them and think they are really cool, and it's a cool thing to do. So there is a big catch, a big hook into our emotions in activities like that. And we do believe that this is one of the reasons why we might be successful with what we try. Before you can go down, you have to go up. This is something that has to do a lot with sports, to really get some benefit out of it, to get something that really catches you, to get the emotional reward for what you do, you have to work for it. Either you walk up somewhere, or it's very hard to learn. You can see people trying to learn kite surfing in Tarifa, is a place in Spain where Mediterranean and Atlantic meet. There's a strong wind. It's called Levante, and the trainers, they put newbies on the water at 7 before. This is a lot of wind. This is about 40 knots of wind, where the sand is really hitting your legs, and it's not really nice out there. And they put really new people out there, and they really do it, and you see them crash all the time, and they are just about to drown, and they really have a few awful days just to try to become kite surfers. They really do that. And when they master it, and they're on the board, and they just fly over the water, then this is the reward, and this is what they work for. And so we believe that consuming alone will never be a solution that will be satisfying for people, because it's just about gulping down information. You know, I spend days in front of the internet. I stream videos. I look at all the stuff that's presented for me. And when I have very good food in the evening, then I cannot hold myself back. So I know exactly that I'm not really very disciplined with myself, and I'm not really happy about that. These are not events that make me happy. Events that make me happy are events that while they are happening, they kind of seem a little bit awful, just like those guys getting dragged through the water on the Atlantic Ocean in Tarifa. But in the end, when you master it, when you hit the mountain top, when you fly, or when you are this guy, like really enjoying yourself and really having a good time in deep snow, then all this drag is forgotten, but it still stays part of what you receive. So we believe that a product should not only be something that helps you consume things, but also should help you to involve yourself a little more, work for what you get. And one of the reasons that we believe that might be really catchy about the phrase "we make you fly" is that on this scale, this is our business plan, by the way, function on this side, from your side, left side, 100% function. This is where screws and bolts and nuts and nails are located in the world of products and artifacts and services. And on this side, this is where things are located, like religion or heritage or love, things that really are beyond matter. And if you want to have a successful product, try to push it to this direction. You can do it either by having a strong brand that your grandfather or your great-grandfather started to create, and you just overtook it, or it took you 50 years to become that brand. Fashion brands, for example, are like that. Car brands tend to be like that. They do have the ability to move themselves into this kind of direction when you have a portfolio of products. You know, your vacuum cleaner might be more located here, depending why you bought it and where you got it from. If you inherited it from your grandmother and you're still using the same vacuum cleaner, and it's not so 100% functional, it does not suck up everything and just leave some little dirt from time to time, but you're in love with the product, then this product is on this kind of area in the scale. If your vacuum cleaner, you bought it because it does have 1,000 watts and it will suck up everything that's on your ground, then your vacuum cleaner will be in this kind of area. Okay, so there are measures to move over here. And for a new product, for a new brand, for something this is not being heard of, or that does not have heritage or a lot of money that you can use for marketing to move it into this direction with, you know, all your might, like some huge companies that we know about, all that rule the internet, are doing so far. They're really trying to push everything in this direction. You know, if you don't have that kind of money and you still are new, you're no old brand that has a long history, then use something that people are dreaming of. Because if you work around that, this brings you into this direction really quick. You don't have to talk a lot about it. For example, like we make you fly. Icarus is a product that will help you to turn workouts in a fun experience. We believe that workouts like we are doing, my colleague Johannes Scholl, he's also here in the audience today, and we are both working on this project now for quite a while. We used to work out. You know, I work out a little less than he does. You can see that immediately if you look at us both, because I'm more on this area. I'm getting bored real easy about it because I do it for too long already, and there haven't been a whole lot of changes. Doing sports in a closed room or in an area like a gym just does not really give you the kick like you would have if you get dragged through the Atlantic Ocean by your kite, although you don't know what you're doing, or like you would walk up a snowy mountain and then go down through the deep snow. Because what happens to your body when you do something like that is you still work out, but you don't ski for working out unless you are one of the guys working for your world championship. So you do sports to have fun, but not in gyms. Unfortunately, I mean, there might be people who have fun doing that, and you know them all because they're the guys on those magazines with those huge muscles, and they use all kinds of products to enlarge their muscles. They might have fun with it because they spend so much time, but the normal user, like you and me, we might be bored, like the little boy. So we believe that we need to have products that enhance our fun in that part of our lives, because not all people have access to snowy mountains. And if we believe that all people should have access to snowy mountains and nice tourist areas, then we have to quickly rethink of how to get there without destroying our planet. So there might be some good in virtual reality because it gives you a chance to enjoy something while you do something, while you invest something from physically, while you invest something time-wise, while you invest something from your coordination and learning, not being so good in the beginning and getting better, to something that is really fun for you and that you can master. At the same time, we believe that playing games is something that has to do a lot with consumption. There is esports, and I don't want to spoil any of your Sunday or Saturday afternoon sessions when you have 6 or 8 hours together with your PlayStation or your Xbox. Do it, it's a good thing for you, but if you do that every day, and if you do it too much, then you might suffer a little bit from a little bit too weak biceps, or something in your circulation and body does not help you to get to that age that might be technically possible nowadays. So just to make sure that it's not only about consumption, but it's a deeper involvement, and this kind of involvement also gives you better feedback and a more immersive feeling, we believe that gaming also can take a little bit more of physical involvement. And the difference between gaming and sports, we've been asked that for a lot of times. People tend to have drawers where they put things in, and they say, are you a game or are you a sport? We say there is no are you this or are you that. We believe that there's no border in between anymore. It's a blend. We try to blend those areas, and this is why we went to Cologne for the FIBO, which is a fitness and bodybuilding fair here in this year. I think it was in May, and in August we went to the Gamescom. So we had a fair stand, we invested money, and we presented our product and talked to the people at those two very, very different consumer groups. And both of them queued up, and both of them were luckily very patient and waited till it was their turn, and the queues were about the same length, and we felt very welcome by both groups in our society. Because sometimes people who play also are people who do sports, you know. This is the one thing, and on the other hand, we do believe that it really does help. If you invest something, it just increases what you get out of it. Active VR, to our knowledge, is, and this is how we play it, is a combination of 4 ingredients. One ingredient, of course, is the electronics, and the Icarus steering is a really easy thing. When we started off, we just glued a smartphone to the side and used the gyroscope and Wi-Fi and sent it to a PC and had a developer's kit too, and some little piece of software, and bim, flying was easy. We have 2 axles, we can move in, we can shift our body. There is no other electronics involved in the Icarus than this. That's it. That's all. It's very small. It's smaller than this, okay? But we also have mechanics, of course. It can be something to fly, it can be something to run, it can be something for anything you could dream of, because mechanics is an easy thing. People are doing that even before Leonardo da Vinci, and there's a whole lot of stuff you can make out of things with companies who are not used to go into technology like that, because they might be just a good old mechanical engineering company that is just involved with, you know, bolts and nuts. And the third part, of course, this is why we're all here today, virtual reality, nice little products, different products, increasingly better. Every year there will be, of course, a cooler experience, better screens, better resolutions, and so forth. So we just stay open for that. And right now we involve the Gear VR because it's wireless and because it was available in March this year. Because this is when we launched our product, end of March. And of course, a person. I mean, without having a person involved, it just doesn't run. The markets that we are tackling and addressing are the gaming markets, the gym and fitness markets, and also the market for physiology, which means it's a medical area where we say, okay, a physiologist approached us and asked us, hey, can we have this for physiotherapy? And we said, yeah, cool, give us some information, and we can, of course, alter the product a little bit so it's fit for your patients, just depending on what they need. So these are the markets we are right now striving for. Of course, we just did not wake up in the morning and everything was finished. We did have some time of involvement. The vision started really early. It was just even before Oculus really did their first step, which does not mean that virtual reality wasn't known to people. I don't know if you know The Lawnmower Man. It was a movie in the 90s, and it was really nice, and it was all involving virtual reality like we've seen today. And so it's not very, very new, but it was not commercialized at that time. When we started off, we started with the developer's kit 2, and it was a really early stage product. Of course, a lot of thinking before that. No robotics involved, really simple product. We fell off, we hurt ourselves, and we learned a lot from our own injuries and tried to make better. And within 1 year, we came out with a mechanical improvement that we could already showcase in some areas like Milano and in Berlin. And after showing it to people, we of course got feedback, so we could increase on the mechanical side of the product, and of course on the gaming side of the product. And it took us about 8 months from the first prototype here to a prototype that really had some chances to go into serial production, and this is what we did. We went into serial production beginning of this year, and we are selling the products now since 1st of April. It's running quite well. We are really happy about that. We found the right partners. People are really easy to involve because they love what they do. And same with the game. People asking us, so why do you only have one game? We say, well, it's not one game, it's an experience, and it's more than one experience. And the really important thing is you really see how you get better. Because in the beginning it's rather difficult. We have an easy parkour where you can race, and you see that here. And hard is a little harder. And in hard, you can really battle yourself and each other for the seconds, because what we have now already, we do have the multiplayer in place. This is the first time in our lives when Johannes and me were trying the multiplayer in our office, and we had a blast, because for the first time since we started the project, we were not alone on this virtual planet anymore. You were looking to your right, because we do have, we do use the gyroscope of the Gear VR also. If I look at Johannes and Johannes looks at me in virtuality, the robots that we created that fly the sources in our, the UFOs in our game, they look at each other too. So you do have some feedback, and you see the other guy, and you see how your wingman is tilting his wings, and then you see the jet stream behind him. And together in co-op mode, you have to work really hard to shoot down the drone headquarter that's constantly spawning the drones, and it's like your fingers really itching because you're shooting all the time, and you know. And then in co-op mode, when you're really good at it, it takes you about 10 minutes, and then all skies are clear from drones. Of course, at the same time, you could do a race against each other. You could dive, you could fly through space, you could do anything in any kind of three-dimensional space. You could become a fly, you know, an insect, a bee, you could fly from flower to flower, or you can really fantasize about completely different ways of setting yourself into motion. But the interesting thing about this step that we did is our vision is that you can be connected through your virtual reality goggles to anybody on the planet, anywhere, and fly together, meet in virtual space, and do something together, do sports together. And this is when our second part of our vision comes into reality, because right now, besides lots of events and lots of test pilots that we are really thankful for, that helped us to improve the product, we outed ourselves by confronting the product with about over 4,000 people, and constantly try to improve the product by picking up everything people say. From yesterday I got some emails, and Johannes got some emails, and we do have some things to do on Monday and discuss with the guys producing. So every time we confront people with it and we try to be really outgoing on it, the product becomes better. But what I wanted to say is the next step that we are really planning, besides selling those things to companies that we, and you might also call them B2B companies, because right now we are running this thing in a B2B case to make enough money with it and to be alive and not needing too much investment for everything. We of course dream of the home trainer 2.0 or 4.0, or you can also say 5 or 5.0. The home trainer doing this and connecting you to other people. You come home after a long day of work, go on your Icarus, you put your goggles on, start the whole system, fly through the Grand Canyon, meet with other birds, talk about the bird day you had, you know, in bird language, of course. And after half an hour, I promise you, you will feel much better, you feel relaxed, and you're fit for the next day. This is what we dream of, because it's not only about shooting. Of course, we get asked it, and we have to do it. It's just something we need to do because we have to market the product. But it can also be about relaxing. It can also be about a really total immersive feeling, because I can promise you, you do have a feeling of flight. If there's any kind of comparison of people who are still alive that have been on the Icarus, there were Harrier pilots that worked for the Royal Air Force in the British Navy, and there were other pilots on it. There were people who are parachuting, and they all tried the Icarus, and they all gave us the feedback. This is as much real as it can get. So we hope you give the system a chance. You visit us, you queue up, you have a little patience with us, and then you'll get your flight. The team behind it, of course, is not one person. Pascal is a really cool guy. He has his own company. He's living in London. He has been with us from scratch, and he's supporting us very much in doing the software programming. He's a master in what he's doing. I have never met a person that is that much knowledge about very different technologies in one person. We needed him, and he's part of the team. He will stay in London. He has family there, but we are really strongly connected, and we're meeting about every month and talking about every day. Then Johannes and me, we are both industrial designers. We worked together for years in a company, and now we just switched the sides from service to product. And Markus, he's our new sales guy, is the first new guy that we employed really in our team, and he's trying to sell the products. Right now he's still only reacting, and this is a good thing, maybe because of the catchy phrase, "We make you fly." People come to us and ask us if they can have a device. In future, of course, we do have plans and all kinds of wallpapers made of Excel stuff that you can really tape to your house if you want to see them all at once, and they're all full of numbers and figures. But we believe the numbers and figures is the technical part. The emotional part, we believe, is the part that really drives our business. Well, later on, when you come by, have a safe flight. Thank you very much.